Welcome to the FULLDIVE Gaming Podcast. FULLDIVE Gaming. I don't know if you can see that out there. It looks like it's way too bright in here. We're in a new studio. We're in a new studio. If you're here watching on video, we have tried this like 5 times, and we think we finally worked out all the kinks. So hopefully you're finally hearing this podcast. Quick thanks to our sponsor, Asterion. That's why we're holding these cute little VR mugs. Check them out at AsterionProducts.com. Code FULLDIVE will save you some money, whether it's a VR mat, whether they brought back their Aura stand, or you're checking out some cute mugs and VR merch. We're going a little more freeform. We're trying something new in the studio. It's not done yet. If you're looking at the background, you're like, oh, that doesn't look great. Yeah, it's not done yet, but we're getting there.
I think it looks so great.
But we're trying just a little bit more talking about what's going on in the scene of VR, what we're all feeling, what we're all playing. We're still going to cover some of your Q&A questions. We're still going to talk about the latest news and games we're playing, but we're going to do it just chilling, having fun, drinking, and who knows what happened.
Drinking coffee.
Yeah, it's morning here right now.
This is like my 3rd caffeinated drink this morning.
Oh, yeah.
You need to get sponsored by Glitch with how much of that you're drinking.
Yeah.
I have a story. Is everybody ready for story time?
I'm so ready for a story.
Let's hear a story.
So there is a new audio strap. So if you've had the Quest 3 for a while, you might know you're working with the speakers on board. You can plug in headphones. Nothing seems great. So people keep asking, when's Bobo VR going to come out with their own snap-on headphones or something? When's anyone going to make an audio solution? Kiwi Design has dropped a K4 audio strap, I think it's called. And this strap is a battery strap that plugs in your USB-C that also has little headphones on the side that snap into your ears so that you can listen to what you're playing, help you hear other people's dialogue. We actually have to try it a little bit out at Techo in Pittsburgh because they had a whole Among Us 3D setup, which was really fun to play with people there. And they were using these straps because you need to be able to hear people talking in Among Us when you go to debate who the imposter is. So I was getting all these comments from people out there on the channel that were like, hey, you should get that audio strap and review it. So I emailed Kiwi. I've worked with them before. If you remember the history of the channel, I love their Quest 2 grips from back in the day.
And way back in the day, they're like cable management solution.
Yeah.
And
I remember that.
They were my favorite head strap, honestly. The battery head strap, 6,400 milliamp battery head strap was fantastic.
Yeah. So we were all very happy with Kiwi. So I just sent them a quick email. Hey, I'm getting tons of comments asking if we can test and review a new audio strap. Would you be willing to ship this out to me? I have the same PO box address still. Let me know. And if not, that's okay too. Because, I know that they're busy and they have stuff going on. And I get back this email that says, JayBratt, we wish you all the best. Thank you for your continued support of our brand and content creation and for sharing your sincere thoughts with our audience. Maybe they meant your audience or maybe they meant VR in general. This is where it gets a little fun. After reviewing your video, we believe that its tone and presentation are not neutral enough and may not be fully consistent with the philosophy and values of our brand. We have decided to take a different direction in future KOL operation. KOL is a term in Asia kind of for influencers and reviewers and stuff. Therefore, we will no longer cooperate or ship with you. Unless authorized by Kiwi Design brand, please do not use our official video clips, brand clips, or logos in future content to avoid any misunderstandings about the ongoing partnership, which it sounds like you literally just killed. So that's funny. They said
it's the non-going partnership.
yeah, non-going. Here's where it takes a step too far, in my opinion. In addition, we kindly ask that you remove or unlist videos about Kiwi Design, including the K4 Duo and G4 Max from your YouTube channel. We believe this is in the best interest of both parties in the future. Of course, we value your work, understand the hardships of content creation, and wish you continued success in your content creation journey. Thank you for your understanding. Warm regards.
Yes, warm.
Very warm.
Such warm
Kiwi
regards.
Design team.
Also, what video are they even talking about?
Iceberg warm.
Like, what? Iceberg?
I have no idea. Obviously, most people know from my reviews, I like the Bobo straps. They are my favorite. But even with the Quest 2, I always said, if you want a more stable strap, something that really hooks onto your face and stays on, my next recommendation after the Bobo M2 was the Kiwi Elite battery strap back then. I always said that. So this kind of blindsided me.
And when was the last Kiwi video you even had?
It's been a while.
And are they saying you can't talk about Kiwi at all? Do they not want your endorsement of their products that are good?
See, okay, if they have a problem and they don't want to collaborate with you going forward, understandable. But to ask you to remove a video that's in the past, I've said it before, on a scale of 1 to bullshit, that's a 13. That's just unacceptable. It's weird.
It's very weird and it's sketchy AF. And I think that's way against FCC guidelines.
FTC.
FTC guidelines.
Both.
FCC is the one that does TV shows, and Family Guy gets really mad at them.
PBS,
that's why
FTC,
it was in my mind.
it's against all the C's as far
It
as
is. All
it's
the
kind of a
F's and the
C.
C's.
It's a C move as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I was totally blindsided because the funny thing too was right before this email came in, someone else on their team had emailed me and said, yeah, we'll send you that strap. And then I get this. Like,
that's
so
super weird.
The communication's all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
From what I understand, Kiwi is going through a shakeup. People are leaving, people are joining. So maybe this was just some weird random email.
And was the person before someone that you've like talked to before?
That was the thing. I don't know, because they're all just coming from customer service at Kiwi Design. I'm not getting specific names anymore like I used to. This person at Kiwi or this person at Kiwi. It's like just their customer service team.
Which is weird because I mean, is it like a rogue employee that didn't talk to upper management and just decided to just go rogue? Was it an AI response in a weird way? Because it's hard to tell. A Chinese company translating to English doesn't always sound the way you would expect it to sound. Sometimes it can sound a little like AI, but it's garbage. Like no matter what, even if it's an AI thing, it's like get control of your systems because that's just not cool.
Yeah, it kind of came out of nowhere. It kind of surprised me. I tried to email them again, and they basically said, hey, I'm sorry if anything was offensive in that email, but they didn't like offer to actually send me anything, to work with me, whatever. I bought the strap on Amazon. I'm currently in the process of reviewing it right now. I should be finishing that review next week.
And they can't tell you can't review it if you bought it yourself.
No, they can't. I mean, you buy a product, you can do whatever you want with it. I could throw it down the stairs and snap it in half. I can do what I want once I own it. But the funny part too is like I don't accept sponsored reviews, so it's not like I have any sponsored anything from Kiwi anywhere on the channel. They can go, oh well, you need to pull that because we had a contract. Like I've never signed a contract with them over anything. So it's a pretty big overstep to ask me to pull all my videos about their stuff when they really had not much to do with it.
They didn't. I mean, they gave you the product, but
some
they
of
didn't.
them.
Not
a good
all
amount
of
of Kiwi products I bought myself because we just didn't have a relationship yet.
Yeah, that's super weird.
So I know some of the owners and management of Kiwi because I worked with them at Consumer Electronics Show like 3 years ago. Super nice people. They're really awesome. I do believe, and I've believed this for a long time, that they put a little too much faith in their customer service people that deal with U.S. content creators. There's been a couple of times that I've had some strong suggestions for them that, hey, this person doesn't seem to be on the ball. And they've said, oh, no, that's who you're going to use no matter what. And then I get frustrated because it's, yes, we're going to send you this. And then I don't get it. And then after I don't get it for a while, it's like, where's your review? I'm like, well, you didn't send it. So I can't do a review. So there's been a lot of that. But I mean, the upper management and ownership, they're really, really great people. It's just the people we deal with are a little tough.
Yeah. Well, and
a lot tough in this case.
It seems like maybe they had someone that's like going through like all the influencers they've worked with or something. And like, oh, this person has something negative to say. This person, it's almost like they had like a spreadsheet that was like, these people said some negative things or things that weren't overwhelmingly positive. So nix all of that and not even taking into account if they actually even had contracts.
Yes.
Because that's a way overstep, like you said. When you haven't even ever had a contract with them.
Look at the way of dealing with someone, because I know for a fact you've had some fairly negative reviews on products, and then those people became very close friends because they listened and you guys communicated and got through the issue.
Yeah, my best relationships with companies are people that I had something negative to say and they took it to heart, fixed the product, relaunched it or something. And that's the whole point of reviews. People don't realize like you're trying to improve the whole landscape by reviewing things, pointing out where they can improve. And this was just it felt like a major misfire and a miscommunication, and it just blew my mind. So I wanted to share it and just hope that someone has some answer for what happened.
I was just thinking the Abaca grips is like a perfect example where they came out with a good product, and then you said, if you just make these changes, it'll be a great product. And still to this day, those Abaca grips, the JayBratt edition Abaca grips, are my favorite grips I've ever used in VR.
They're great. Well, and the thing is that really bothers me is even if you'd had like a paid contract, you're supposed to say your actual genuine feelings on the product. Yeah. So it's really sketchy that they'd be like, oh, oh, well, we want your actual genuine feelings, but if they're not what we like, then let's not do this. Like, that's super sketchy. I don't like it. And it just lends itself to like, then I feel like you can't really trust any reviews for Kiwi because they're nixing any negative reviews. So all those positive ones out there are probably, I mean, they could be genuine feelings, but like it's not a full picture of what the product is.
I know you can trust the one from this guy Assassin 32 VR that for that same product that happened a couple of weeks ago. That guy's on it.
It brings us into this bigger subject of how there is very little incentive or reward in this realm for like complete and total honesty.
Yes.
Because companies will mark you as not brand safe. I've been blacklisted by so many companies by being really direct and honest in the reviews. But the funny thing is, according to the FTC guidelines, that is exactly what you have to do if you're reviewing products. Even if they pay you, unless it's like a commercial and you're a paid actor, if it is any sort of product, you're supposed to be completely honest, even if it's paid, which I think that just makes the waters really muddy for the people who try to do that. But if you are honest and real, you deal with this kind of crap from companies. And if you're not, sure, your audience might call you a shill, but like there's tons of people out there that have been called shills and are still huge YouTubers. Like, people still watch them and they go, yeah, they're a little shilly with their products, but like they still watch it.
Right.
So like, what is the advantage for a lot of YouTubers to like be completely real and honest? It kind of puts you in a corner. You make enemies. You get less offers for brand deals. Like, it's only down to your own personal integrity is like the only reason to do it, because there's little reward. I like to believe that our core audience that has shown up is because they know we're going to be real. We're going to be honest about stuff, but it's just funny how so often you're just getting beat over the head. I've had so many angry emails. And like, even with this one, when I was talking about it, our new guy Quinn was like, dude, they could like send you a cease and desist if you share this, couldn't they? And I was like, no, they could try. They could they
have no legal footing.
Yeah, they've got no right to come after me when I'm just doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
It could go against them if they try and come after you for it because they're not following the guidelines. Honestly.
So when you do reviews, though, the tough thing is, I know there are channels out there that have blown up by doing overly negative reviews because negative reviews get views.
But that's absolutely not. I mean, the only negativity that he has is genuine.
Sure.
Either way.
On the flip side, if you just do very positive reviews, then everyone wants to send you their stuff and life gets easier. The hardest thing to do is be real, open and honest about what the product is like. And I don't know, read some of Jay's reviews, the comments where people, I don't know how many tens of hundreds, maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars you've saved people from buying garbage products.
Right.
That's weird.
The thing that really bothers me about this too is it reminds me of like the medical industry and like the drug industry. It's like the what do you call those? The like drug salespeople?
Pharmaceutical sales reps.
It's exactly that same kind of thing where they're like, oh, here's some free stuff. And like, you don't have to do anything, but here, have some free lunch and like do all this stuff. And there have been like studies that say that even that can like influence like people's behaviors and stuff. And so when companies are going so far as to say, even when you haven't even had a contract, can you pull those videos? That is so wrong.
Yeah.
And that really rubs me the wrong way. I do not like it.
One nice thing about buying something like you did, you just went out and bought the head strap yourself. You don't have to put that little disclaimer on the video that says that you accepted something in exchange. And what people don't understand is when they see that disclaimer, they think that you've been paid money. But it literally says if you've been given anything of value to do the video.
Which is good because like with the pharmaceutical rep stuff, it could even, subconsciously affect like kind of your thoughts. Not that I'm saying that that's happening, but like it's good that there's a disclaimer there.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't like it. I feel like their marketing team is kind of giving Kiwi a bad name doing this kind of thing. It's super sketchy.
But talking about negativity, let's pull out. Let's get on something positive. I think we've said enough about that. I went to SeaGraph up in Canada last week, and I got to try some prototype headsets from Meta.
Oh, I'm so excited to hear about this.
I was not flown up or paid or driven. I drove 7 hours, me, Quinn, and John. I paid for an Airbnb for us to stay, all because I just really wanted to try these head straps. The only thing that I got, luckily, because our channel's at a point where we can get media badges, I was able to get free media badges for me and my team to get into the show instead of paying probably $1,000 a person or something. So I tried the tiramisu, which looks like if you took a Quest 2 and stretched the front of it way out.
How was it yummy?
Yeah. And then I tried the Boba 3, which is their super wide field of view. So one is the most realistic, high density graphics with crazy lighting. That's the tiramisu. The other one is the widest field of view basically ever in a headset. So I feel like the way we've done this before and probably the best way is kind of go back and forth. So maybe Assassin, if you want to start with a question about one, I'll answer it. And then Nat will kind of round table this with questions.
So it was two that you tried.
2 different headsets, yes.
Yeah, to me, the field of view seems really interesting because I've gotten so used to the binocular look that I don't pay attention to it anymore. And field of view has meant less to me because I'm so used to seeing it. But when you're talking about almost, I think humans like 220 degrees or something like that.
It depends on your head shape. It's 200 to 220, depending on your head shape, where your eyes are placed, all of that. But 200 to 220 is kind of what they say human eye vision does.
Depending on if you're a human prey or human predator,
Yeah.
apparently. So, yeah, field of view. Like, how cool was it to have that almost disappear?
So it's funny. We'll circle back to all this, but it's always funny because I feel like everybody was way more excited about the field of view one. Everybody wants to know about that one. The tiramisu was the one that really shocked me. But the thing about the wide field of view one, you put it on, and if you've ever tried any kind of headset that claims to have wide field of view, a lot of times they had like 2 lenses spliced together, and there's like a little bit of a line. You could tell there's 2 screens inside on each side, something that made it not perfect. You put this on, and the lens is basically just wrapped around your eyes on the sides, and then any sort of distortion was fixed through software. And so you put it on, and it seriously felt like you just put on, those like sunglasses that like wrap around the edge of your eyes. It felt like you were just putting those on, and because you could still see everything.
Okay.
And the really weird part about that I only realized after when I was watching Quinn try it, there's only 2 cameras on the whole headset about eye distance. There's no cameras to the sides, 2 cameras with ultra wide field of view lenses on them.
Oh.
And then all of the distortion that you normally get from a wide angle was corrected so that everything still looked right. But there's just 2 little cameras right where your eyes are sticking out forward. It's like, how in the heck could I see? Like, I had Quinn sit next to me on the couch and talk, and I could sit forward and still see him out of the corner of my eye talking.
I guess that's what your eyes do.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is.
But your eyes turn, they turn and look. These are just 2 little cameras sticking forward.
Like, I can see.
Yeah.
Not even.
Yeah.
So
it's
more like I.
And it
I
was
can see,
like
here best.
It'll be better. Better than your eyes.
Well, and so they claim it's 180 degree field of view, but again, those numbers are really hard to come up with from person to person what it is. But basically what I found was the only part I couldn't actually see. So if you were to put your finger up by your eye and you kind of put your finger where you can't look at it, like you try your hardest to look, you can't focus on it, but you see it there out of your peripheral vision. That was like all I lost, was that little bit of vision on the edge. And it's part of your vision you can't theoretically use anyways, because you can't focus that far over to the side, but you can look just with your peripheral. That was all I lost. And I told them the word that kept coming up was, it was enough. It was enough to be convinced that this was my whole field of view. And the 120 vertical was everything I could see anyways, looking up and down. I was all of my vertical, and it was like 90% of my horizontal, but it was enough that it felt completely real. So much so that I was, talking to all the staff and everything. And when I sat down, a guy walks over in mixed reality, and it's like a real hologram of a person, but he walked over and I was like, oh, hey, how's it? I was like, oh my gosh, this is not a real guy.
Wow.
But I thought he's like one of the staff had like walked around to tell me something about it as I was wearing the headset. And then that moment I was like, that isn't a person.
Wow.
But it was just, you're so used to that like binocular effect. Or if you try other glasses that have like that opening, no person crosses through an opening in your field of view, and then suddenly they appear. So you realize it was like he had like walked out from the side and was real. And I was like, wow, this is wild. And these are prototypes. We may see a wider field of view in the Quest 4, but not necessarily like anything like this. Because I mean, this thing was strapped up to a PC with a 5090 graphics card in it, running it. Like, this thing needed some serious power to pull it off. But with that huge field of view, they had 30 ppd still. So it still looked even better than a Quest 3, but
Quest 3 looks pretty freaking good, dude.
Yeah, with so much more field of view, but nothing quite like quite like the other headset. So,
but okay, so that's the cool thing about prototypes to me is that these are all things that we're not going to get that in a headset. It's not going to be 180 field of view when we actually get the headset. Now, I mean, the next one might be 140, maybe the one after that's 160, and maybe the Quest 6 is 180 degree field of view. It's cool to see them working on that and getting it smaller and cheaper and doing it better each generation.
Okay, I want to hear about the tiramisu. I still am like picturing dessert. But okay, so you had like this super good field of view one that had like graphics still. The tiramisu you said had really good graphic field. So like, what was that experience like?
Well, the funny thing with the tiramisu was it was in the back corner. And like everyone in line was kind of like, oh yeah, we'll try it. I don't really know if it's gonna be that good because like everyone had heard the field of view is like 30 degrees by 30 degrees.
Oh.
And so everyone's like expecting this thing to just be like, oh, it's not gonna be good at all, blah blah blah. And they sit you down, they put you in a Quest 3 first and show you the inside of an airplane because you're seeing what it's gonna look like on the Quest 3, and then they hand you the tiramisu, which you have to hold up because they didn't want to use a head strap because it sticks out so far, it's so heavy. They didn't want to have people putting head straps on and being all uncomfortable.
And the person hands it to you like this.
Yeah. And it was mind-boggling, the difference. Everything inside it was a fully computer generated airplane. It wasn't a real one, but
which probably looks even better.
It was at nighttime and the gauges were lit up and the light was so bright. So not only does this thing have really high, like 90 pixels per degree, so like 3 to 4 times what any headset currently has, but it had crazy bright contrast and everything. I think it's like 1400 nits or something, which is comparable to some of the great TVs. And so all of a sudden every gauge, it wasn't like, oh, there's a flat icon of a red light. It was like light was emanating from each gauge towards your face. Like everything just looked real and right. And the problem was you got this little 30 by 30 window in front of you. So you're like turning your head, trying to look at everything and take it all in because you can't see that much of it at a time. But everything, it's how lighting, when you see those videos, ray tracing versus on and off, you don't realize how much lighting convinces you something's real. More even than the graphics and stuff.
Yeah, shadows can make a massive difference.
True.
It was just wild. Like I just wanted to stay and keep scanning with my little tiny window and look around because it was so cool looking. It was so realistic looking. I completely forgot that I was looking through this tiny box and I just wanted to look at everything and zoom in on everything, scoot in and play with everything. And it was an incredible experience from that perspective. And then you go over to the other computer that they have there, and then they show you this like outdoor nature during the day to also really show you the brightness and stuff. And at first when I got into it, I thought, okay, this is a 360 image of a real place. And then as I got closer to things with that super high resolution, I realized this is a computer rendering of nature. But you couldn't really tell at first because it looked so real, looked so bright, looked so right. You thought it had to be an image. But as I started looking up at certain textures and things, it was like when you first played Half-Life Alyx back in the day on the lower end headsets, everything looked so real. But then when you got a really realistic headset, you suddenly realized, oh, those USB ports were just a flat graphic.
Yeah.
That they weren't a real USB port with any depth. And so I actually found, weirdly, I felt like the Tiramisu was more impressive to me than the Boba 3, even though the Boba had that crazy field of view, just that intensity of brightness, the lights, the realism. Even though I could barely see anything through this tiny little 30 by 30 window, it was more amazing to just look at that. And I told them, honestly, like if you get those graphics and that field of view, you're done. You don't need any better in VR than that. It would literally be able to simulate real life at that point.
That's pretty cool. And it's really cool, honestly, that Meta is showing those off because normally they're so secretive about everything they're doing.
True.
And for them to say, here's what we're up to. And maybe that is a little bit of pressure from, Valve coming out with the Deckard soon and all the different companies working on all the different headsets. Maybe that is causing them to say, we're still in the game and we're producing very high-end stuff or working on producing very high-end stuff.
Yeah. Or maybe because like they're kind of shifting to the glasses and stuff. They're like, we don't really care if people see this and copy us now.
It's so funny because we have two different ways of looking at that. Because I look at that same thing and going, hey, we're shifting towards the glasses, but we want to remind you guys we're still in the headset business. Maybe that's coming because they decided not to come out with a Quest 4 next year and skip one more year forward. That it's a reminder we're still doing this. We're still committed. Buy games from us.
Yeah.
Well, and if a Quest 4 was to come out this year, it would be a step up slightly from the Quest 3, but it wouldn't be that great. There's not even a whole new Snapdragon Gen yet in the processors. And the fact that now we're 2 years out on a Quest 4 makes me think that some of this stuff could actually make it to the Quest 4. Like seeing those two ultra wide field of view cameras, I think that the Quest 4 may only have 2 cameras on the whole thing.
What's funny is so this is no joke, the third or fourth time we've tried to record this podcast. And one of the editions we did before, I came out with a prediction about Meta coming out with basically glasses for the Quest 4. I think, here's the deal, I was wrong. It's still going to be a headset. They don't have the technology to get it down to the glasses like they need to, but still the upgrade might really be worth it. Like the Quest 4 might be something we really get excited about.
Yeah.
Or because it's Meta, it could be the Quest Pro 2 that these are leading towards, or something like that. You just don't know.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting because now the whole rumor is next year, 2026, instead of the Quest 4, that's been pushed to 2027. They're going to come out with an ultralight headset. So there will be a full video coming on the channel, hopefully this next week, showing my testing of it, my thoughts and everything. It was really cool. And hopefully something working towards maybe those ultralight headsets are going to use just 2 cameras and have bigger mixed reality, better mixed reality. And the fact that we're kind of moving backwards a little bit and allowing cords to come back does mean that we can actually get some better stuff. But I know we're way behind on Q&A. We should probably try and figure out. The problem is we've done 3 attempts at this podcast, so I don't know what questions we haven't answered now and never made it out to the audience.
Shafe Dog got his bathwater.
That definitely came out. We got that into an episode.
I think it was anything after that. I think is new for us.
Okay.
How did that taste, by the way, Shafe? Haven't really talked about that.
So we got another question from Shafe. With the recent announcement of an Xbox Meta Quest 3S that includes the Xbox controller and a few months of Game Pass, would it be smart of Sony to follow suit and partner with Meta to make a PlayStation Quest with a DualSense controller and a few months of PS Plus, and then just leave their own headset behind?
Wow.
Sad.
That's a lot.
Oof.
I don't think that would happen. And also, like, I
don't know. I want a PSVR 3 and
that's what we wanted for VR 2.
And Shafe Dog's question would mean that it's not going to happen in any way. I just think that the Microsoft thing is just Meta and Microsoft continuously moving closer and closer together.
Yeah.
They really have cozied up, and then coming out with a Microsoft branded Quest means they're just one step away from partnering up on something.
Yeah, and this was a partnership to bring Game Pass to it. And then they're also, Meta's kind of pushing Sony further away. They just discontinued Beat Saber support on PSVR 1 and PSVR 2 right after, of course, Sony and Apple said that Sony PSVR 2 controllers are going to work on Apple Vision Pro. So it kind of feels like there's this weird like Meta Microsoft corner, and now of all the things we wouldn't have guessed, Sony and Apple are in another corner. And then Google, Android, XR, like Samsung are kind of this other. It's like all these mergers are kind of happening in the VR world, and then with all these weird ones you wouldn't have expected to be friends.
And everyone's just mean girling.
Biggie like, Smalls takes out some peeps.
With us.
East Coast versus West Coast.
I'm gonna bring that back. Yeah, I don't think it'll happen. But not only I don't think it'll happen, I don't think it should happen.
No.
Weirdly, I just, even having used the Xbox One, like it's kind of cool. There was neat things to it, but like you already could do that without the Xbox Edition one.
Yeah.
They chose to make it a 3S, which is the worst headset to have the Game Pass on. Like on Quest 3, it looks so much better. It's so much more comfortable.
Yeah.
I don't think.
I think they did it just to get rid of some Quest 3Ss.
Just spray painted them black and called it a day.
Which that could go on a tangent that I have with Apple and the Apple Vision Pro and the next version of it, and how it's basically the same exact headset with an upgraded chip. So they didn't sell as many as they were hoping, and I think there's from what I've heard, about 600,000 unsold Apple Vision Pros out there that they can go in there and retrofit with the new chip and save a ton of money on just throwing them away or scrapping them. So, and I don't know, I heard that thing's still going to be like $3,500.
Of course.
So it'll sell about 5 of them.
Which is wild for those people who did spend $3,500 on an M2 and then suddenly another one comes out with an M5. It's like they won't offer it, but man, they should offer some kind of like trade-in. They should offer some kind of like trade-in program for your old Apple Vision Pro.
Oh, I'd be furious if that was that big of an up.
Yeah.
And I'm an Apple guy. I got an iPhone. I have a mock Apple computer. It's an HP with a sticker on there that raised the value. It's like 4 times more valuable than it was before I put that sticker on. But I'm an Apple guy, and I see no use in those things, not for that price.
Yeah.
Now I will say, now that it's got some controller support, if you start getting me some games, I don't know, maybe at $1,200, not at $3,500.
That's like rich people like that are buying yachts.
Yeah.
Like, why not?
And I don't know if he's still using it, but out of the, say, 10 people that I know from a distance that bought one, only one actually used it on a regular basis. And I don't know if he still is. Todd Jackson, if you're out there, are you still using the Apple Vision Pro? Because I know he was using it for work every day.
He's finally using that bidet I got him after all these years.
Is he finally using the bidet?
He sent me a TikTok, and his bathroom remodel's all done, and the bidet is in there and functioning.
That was sitting in, that's like a year and a half sitting in his garage waiting to be
or
used.
longer. I feel like that was a long time ago. I feel like that was like CES number 2. So that would be going on, I don't even know. It was a long time.
We should have a commercial for like a bidet right now.
Asterion Products, make some bidets.
And then you'll get a nastygram email from the bidet company saying, take down your video.
We didn't like what you did. We got one more question here from Jimmy on the Rocks. How far are we from an open world Baldur's Gate type game in VR with quest givers and side quests in a world like the Sword Coast or similar landscape experiences and gameplay? I feel like we're further than ever.
More ways.
Yeah. We've talked about this before, but we've gone into like mobile gamification kind of. Yeah, getting farther and farther away from those big games.
And I talked to I won't give his name, but a pretty big game developer about why we didn't get San Andreas in VR. And he just said Quest headsets absolutely cannot handle something that's that open world. It's just asking too much. And Quest does very well with dungeon crawler games where you're in an enclosed environment. But when the environment gets big and there's a lot more assets on the screen, Quest is just a mobile chipset and can't handle it.
Yeah, and recently too, Meta announced that there is a, what did they call it? There's like a sweet spot. I can't remember. They used another term for it. Goldilocks zone of 20 to 40 minutes when it comes to what people want to do in VR, how long they'll put the heads on, how long they'll wear it for. And so any sort of open world type games, even Asgard's Wrath 2, they put so much work into that and people were so impressed by it. Like most people I know who got it still haven't finished it.
No, I think it's only like 3% of the people that got that game have finished it. There was some statistic that came out a few months ago.
Which I feel like, random side note, I feel like it's because there's no way to share the experience. Or there are ways, but there's not an easy way to share the experience when you're on a Quest headset, like with PSVR, where you can have your social screen easily. So it makes you more hard pressed to like spend all this time in the game. You're not like sharing the experience with someone like, oh wow, look where you're at, oh that's so cool, you know. Like it was a big part of a lot of our like early gaming experiences where you're like watching someone play a game or whatever, and that's like kind of now people streaming gameplay and stuff. It's that same kind of thing, and when you can't have that, it's harder to think about spending a lot of time in a game, I think.
Yeah. See, that's where Nat and I always end up differing. And it is because of where you started in VR versus where I started in VR, because mine's a much newer experience. I wasn't there for PSVR, the original. It's funny, you can't call it PSVR 1. It was just PSVR.
That's true.
But you know, to me, the 20 to 40 minute thing is about comfort. I think people get uncomfortable, they get hot, and they want to get out of there. And a lot of that is because they're wearing the elastic band stock head straps that they need to get rid of pronto.
Yes.
Because for me, like, so you guys play a lot of Demio, so you know, your average time for a VR session is probably 2.5 hours when you figure in the 4-hour Demio sessions and then the 1-hour sessions here and there. Mine is probably about 3 hours, and it has nothing to do with anything other than eventually my head starts to hurt. Like there's just spots that hurt on my noggin, and I feel like taking it off. The 20 to 40 minute people, I just think it's comfort. It comes down to comfort for me anyway.
Yeah.
Not only that, but now Quest 3, if you're still rocking the stock strap and you've had one since launch, your battery's probably degraded a bit down to where, I mean, an hour 20 is probably all you're going to get even on a full charge.
121 is what I got when I tested the
Gotta
K4
get those
Duo.
Bobos.
So that's where they're saying this is the Goldilocks zone for so many reasons. But yeah, it's comfort, it's isolation, it's just battery life. There's so many reasons that
Yeah.
restrict your time. So then when you ask, oh, when are we going to have an open world game that you could spend 8 hours a day in, 200 hours, 1,000 hours playing it? I don't know that anybody's going to make that or want it.
I don't think anybody wants it
because it's just so much work. I really wanted to see Grand Theft Auto come to Quest just to prove to me that I would want to play a Quest that long.
Yeah.
Because for me, even recently, I finally played Resident Evil 4 on PSVR, and I wanted to spend hours in there, but that headset's light. You're cabled up.
Yeah.
You're just, it's easier. I had no problem
Plus
spending
the
hours.
social screen.
Yeah. And
even if you're playing it by yourself, like someone could walk by and be like, oh,
it's a different feeling.
Yeah.
And I don't know that unless there's some really good reason to be in a Quest. I don't know that I want to be in a Quest for many hours. It's even with my Bobo and stuff, it's heavy. That Bobo really balances the weight, but altogether, my headset at one point recently was like 3 pounds.
Yeah.
It was literally 2 pounds and 15 point something ounces.
And
that's
like
a crazy amount to have on your head.
That is.
When you think about like how much time you spend playing GTA or Baldur's Gate, you're in there for hundreds of hours. Like you're committing to that game for hundreds of hours. And personally, for me, I don't want that.
Yeah.
Like I want the game. Believe me, I want GTA in VR so bad, but I can do it right now. There's mods. You can actually do it. And it's not that hard. And I haven't taken that step because I think deep down in the back of my brain, I don't want to spend hundreds of hours with a heavy headset on. I do it. I just do it in 2-hour increments here and there.
Yeah.
It does make me wonder if we had more games that were completely playable flat, but also at any moment you could put a VR headset on and be fully immersed and still use the same controls, the same save files. Like, because I was, problem with Resident Evil 4, you have to make a separate save file for VR, so you can't like switch back and forth. But if that was the case, how many of those games would be awesome? Because you could sit down and play for an hour or two, and then you'd be like, you know what, I really want to be in this part. Pop the headset on, be in the game for an hour, come back out. Would it be more successful from that perspective? But with the Quest, you just don't really have that option.
Yeah.
Oh, and just think about like, so with the Deckard coming out, and it's going to be standalone PC VR at the same time kind of thing. So how cool would it be for me to be able to go to my computer and play a game for a little bit? Then I feel like doing it in VR and put the same game on and continue my save. And then I'm on a road trip, so I grab my Steam Deck and I play it on there too.
Yeah.
Like the same game and just continue to move forward where I feel comfortable.
Kind of like the Switch concept.
Yeah,
like
100%.
You can just play it in any kind of mode, any kind of place. And it's like a seamless experience. Yeah.
We got here from a Baldur's Gate question. We got through one question so far.
we hit Shape Dogs too, so it does bring us around to so with those Goldilocks zones and with the comfort and everything. What are you playing right now that you're actually enjoying? What have you been spending time in VR?
I don't even want to say it because you guys already know.
The same games as always.
I can't get away from real VR fishing lately. And part of it, honestly, is I'm doing a giveaway and then they're asking me to do a few things. But honestly, I have access to the next DLC right now before it comes out. And I'm still playing the base game because I can play with other people. And I have met the coolest people in there. I mean, seriously, I'm texting on my actual phone number with people I met in a game just not too long ago. And you're like worried if you don't see them for a few days, if you haven't been fishing.
Yeah.
I'm going to force myself. So I am going to force myself to come up with new games every time we do an episode to talk about, because it's been the same ones for a long time.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of funny because like we're all like big VR enthusiasts, but we like totally get into ruts like with VR, which I feel like for me, that's kind of how I roll because I like get very into one game at a time. But I think it is a good goal to like try different.
Maybe we should have an assignment.
Yeah.
Each of us has to come up with one new game that we put a minimum of like, say, 2 hours into in between podcast episodes.
That's fun homework. I like it.
Well, we did try something last month, which I don't think we've had an episode out since. Nope. Did a fitness challenge with FitXR. That was the first time in a very long time. It used to be BoxFair. I think I tried it back then once. Yeah. First time in a long time, but it's changed a lot. They've got Zumba classes and dance classes and boxing and combat and all these other things. And I've talked about this so many times. I don't want to go on a huge tangent, but it was a great month. We were doing challenges. We were doing group classes together. Me, Nat, Quinn was joining. We took it to Pittsburgh, did it with a bunch of people there. A bunch of people from the community sent videos in. They were trying it too. I think code JayBratt freebie still gets you a free month if you haven't tried it. But man, that it kind of just just jumped this like fitness streak for me again when it had been a minute since I'd really been working out. We were doing it like every day. And then now this month, we're also going back to the gym and stuff too. So I feel like overall it was just a really healthy thing to do for a month to kind of push. But FitXR, I was surprised by it because we'd done Supernatural before and I liked it, but ultimately you kind of ran out of playlists, you ran out of things, and even doing it almost every day for a whole month, FitXR stayed pretty fresh.
Yeah.
They add new stuff, new environments, they make new seasons, but it's weird because they actually use less known music than Supernatural uses, like the big hits of, you know, today in the last 30 years. The fact that FitXR just used like good workout music, I didn't notice as much when it was getting repetitive.
Yes.
Because like Supernatural, they'll buy like Promises by Skrillex. They pay for licensing on that. They want to get their mileage out of it. So every EDM playlist, it seems like on Supernatural has that song in it.
That makes sense.
Like you're doing different ones. You're getting the same songs over and over. But yeah, I had a lot of fun doing that. And I feel like I kind of recommend if you've been out there, you've been thinking about it, give it a try. It did a great thing for me in the month. And now we're going to the gym and stuff too. And I want to keep doing FitXR as part of it and doing our home stuff too. But we've been to the gym like 6 times in the last week and I feel good. I feel good about doing something like that.
I think you should mention your anecdote about the day when you were really tired.
Yeah. Well, I talked about this. So there's a full video breakdown about the whole challenge if you're interested over on my channel. But one of the examples that I brought up that was really weird is like, I hate how for some reason when your body is hungry, it tells you to eat food. Or when your body's thirsty, it tells you to drink water. But when your body might just need physical activity, it tells you to go to sleep.
Yeah.
Like I remember this one evening, I was super tired and we hadn't done our FitXR yet for the day. And I was like, I really don't want to do it tonight. I just want to go to bed. And Nat was like, well, I'm going to go do mine. And then she did that. So I was like, okay, I can't not do mine now. And this is like 8:00 at night by this point. I was like, I'm just going to crap this out. I'm going to choose a 6-minute one on beginner. I'm going to do it really fast. And I got through it. And I was still, beginner on it still gets you moving pretty well. I was starting to sweat and I was like, I feel so awake and alive all of a sudden. Like I cleaned the house that evening. We went on like this long walk. I couldn't get to bed because I got too active late in the day. But I was like, how is it sometimes when what you really need, your body needs is a little exercise, it can't communicate that to you. You don't get the like, oh, I need to exercise feeling. It's just like, hey, go to bed, go to sleep.
But that's a really nice thing about FitXR is like they have a lot of short ones. Like if you aren't really feeling it, you can do a little short one and then you might be like, I think I actually want to do more, like move more. And also there's this one mode in FitXR that I really like called Slam that is so fun. It's a room scale version. And it's like, you can choose 3 minutes, 6 minutes, or 9 minutes. And I was like, ooh, I'm going to do 9 minutes. Like that doesn't even seem like enough. Like, and it almost like, this makes it sound not good, but it almost is like the like pacer test. If anyone remembers that, where you like start out kind of slow and then get faster, but it's really fun because there's like, targets in the room and they go like these different areas in the room and you like hit them and then now it's in the corner over there, you run over there, and now it's in the corner over there, you run over there, and it's in, of course, what is it called?
Mixed reality. It's in mixed reality, of course, so like you're not gonna like step on your children while you're running around, but it's so fun and so motivating because you're like, oh, I gotta get to the next target, and it like they like explode if you don't get them, so you're like, oh, and it really gets I really like it. Anyway, recommend for sure.
I've had the code to install that for like a month and a half and I still haven't done it.
Just
need to do it
and try the
okay, here's the deal. I'm going to do it, and that'll be my assignment before the next 2 hours.
Nice.
I got to do a minimum of 2 hours of FitXR before the next podcast episode.
Are we going to assign them to each other?
Oh, if I did, Jay's all going to have horror games with spiders.
Well, and speaking of, there was one last thing I wanted to touch on. So we've been doing this challenge, and you don't know about it because we recorded a podcast episode with Quinn, and it never made it the light of day because it just got wrecked, corrupted. But he hadn't really tried VR before he came on as part of the team. And so we were like, we're going to put you through the gauntlet. We're going to make you try everything, every headset, and like get your experience before and after what you think. So that is coming. But one thing I did this last week, finally, I busted out the original PSVR because I was like, all right, you've been trying quests and you've tried some PC stuff, but now I need to show you the humble roots of some of this. And I put him in Dreadhalls.
Good.
And Dreadhalls is a game on paper. It shouldn't be scary. The graphics aren't great. It's pretty like redundant and basic, but something about that game, I think it's honestly the audio. It's so atmospheric and it's so creepy. He was like whining like a little kid. He did not want to play it. He kept saying he wanted to stop. And I was like, this it took me back that like even
Yeah.
PSVR like that can be so convincing and good. It doesn't, it's not all about the graphics and stuff. Like that game is so creepy and so scary.
Yeah.
And then I showed him Farpoint after that, of course, because Farpoint with the aim controller was
Sure.
still one of the best games to this day
So
for me for VR. And then the spiders were jumping at his face and that was messing with him. And I was like, there was something really visceral about some of those PSVR
Yes.
originals
It's
that
true.
got me more than games do now.
That's where our like passion for VR came from, was like even the Gear VR, even like Land's End on Gear VR, which was such a good game. Like there was just some magic about some of those early games. There's still a magic to like, you know, any VR, but like there was something to it that I feel like we're kind of losing, and I hope we get back. And I am really, I have some hope since you like saw those new, or not new, but those like headset prototypes. I hope that there will be some really exciting things coming in the future.
I think there's kind of a lost art for horror games or scary games where it's really easy. I can, in like a weekend, I could build a jump scare game that would scare you. And I have no skills whatsoever because jump scares are easy. It's cheating and I don't even consider it horror. But building suspense in a way that's not entirely obvious. Sometimes you can just go into a room and look around and go, this room is creepy and I don't know why, but I'm getting the creeps. And then there's Jay streaming Propagation that time where he dropped like 60 F-bombs or something like that in there.
At least.
They actually randomly just came out with a new gun for that.
Really?
It's like they just added a sniper rifle out of nowhere. Haven't touched that game in a few years, but here's a sniper rifle. And my first thought was I got to play this with Jay and just see how many times we can drop F-bombs because I would be doing the same thing.
There would be a little counter.
That was horror. That's Dreadhalls too, though. Like, there's no jump scares in Dreadhalls.
Yeah.
The environment's so creepy,
Yeah.
and the minute you see something in a room that shouldn't be there, it freaks you out and you're running for your life.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, takes me back. So
Yeah.
what are some recommendations out there? What are some newer horror games that you've tried that have done that? I will say Tunnels was one that surprised me on Quest. It was surprisingly scary. It just hit all of the phobias that exist without major jump scares. Like, it just creeped you out bad. And we need recommendations because Assassin over here is saying he's going to get his streaming set up together and stream horror games all October.
I can't believe you just said that.
Now you have to do it because now it's out there. Now people know about it.
I'm a horror person. I love horror movies. I read horror books growing up, and I am just a horror person. But VR horror just hits me on a different level and freaks me out. And I think we talked about it last night, actually. Hello Neighbor freaks me out. And it's just the cartoony kids game kind of looking thing. But when you're hiding in the house and it's a little spooky and the guy comes running towards you to catch you, I scream like a little kid and freak out. And I think part of it is in VR, you feel like you're there, but you're also not as able to do things as you would in real life.
Yeah.
If a real life zombie busted into your house right now, I could pick up a chair or a computer, or I could run, I could go where I needed to go and do what I needed to do to kill the zombie. But in games, you're limited to what the developer allows you to do. And I think like what made Propagation so scary for you is you can't move. You stand in one spot and the zombies and come from all over the place. And spiders, I know the spiders got you, but they come from all over the place and you're limited to what the developer allows, which makes it more scary. So yeah, horror games are not my jam, but I've committed to streaming some horror games this October.
And I can't wait.
I'm so stupid. I should have never said anything.
What are you going to do? What are you playing out there? Let us know in the comments. If you're here on YouTube, if you're over on Spotify, you can come join the Discord. Come talk to us there. Ask us some questions. We're hoping now that we have this studio stuff, and dear goodness, I hope this episode's actually working right now and this gets published. If that's the case, now we're talking about maybe having some in-person guests talking here on the weekly, being a little bit more relaxed, not having to fight with computer issues, hopefully, and just actually be able to talk in person instead of through the internet and all that. So let us know what you think of the format. We'd love to hear your thoughts on the new changes. And once again, if you've been listening for a while, thinking about it, and you still haven't gone and gotten yourself a headset, it's time.
Dive on in.